Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about talent and how it's not necessarily the be all and end all. And I think what's more important than talent is work ethic. It's better to just keep throwing yourself against the wall and being unable to climb it than it is to just jump over the wall with ease, because what's the kind of satisfaction there? You know, the whole kind of thing of people saying, oh, it's better to work really hard, start a business, grow it and start everything from scratch and make yourself up from nothing than it is to, say, win the lottery. Obviously, one of these things is the more rewarding of the two. And that's because you've actually taken the time to improve your own skills naturally over time, rather than just having this, say, God-given talent or this just immense luck. You know, it's good to have a continual attempt and to continually fail than it is to not try and then just succeed on the first attempt. Because what kind of story is that once you actually do succeed? What kind of story is it to help other people grow and inspire them to just say, oh yeah, I tried it once and it just worked really well, so I just carried it on, you know? Like one of my favorite bands is a band called Dream Theater. They're not my favorite band, but they're up there. And they kind of irritate me because, and it's not really their fault, but their story is just a bit boring. They went to a music school and then they dropped out of the music school to start a band, and then they started a band and it went really well, and then bam, they were famous. It's just not, you know, it's not particularly much, you know. It doesn't really inspire you to, you know, to make you think that you can do this as well, that you are capable, because you are much more capable than you think you are. You know, I for many years sort of sat there and just like, I'm useless, I can't really get stuff done, I'm not even all that talented. Who gives a shit if I'm talented? Who cares if you're talented? Why does it matter if you're talented? If you go out there and make stuff, it doesn't really matter if you're talented. What matters more is if you're genuine. It's better to genuinely fail than it is to inauthentically succeed. So why should you continue to just put yourself down for a lack of talent? Because it doesn't matter, I don't think. I don't think talent is the be-all and end-all. I don't think talent is the thing that dictates why someone likes something. I mean, some of the most famous musicians and filmmakers and actors and stuff aren't the best ones. They're not the most talented ones. Like, I like a lot of, I've started getting into pop music, right? But I don't think I could sit down and say that they're some of the most talented people ever. But it doesn't matter because they're some of the most popular people ever. Popularity and success doesn't necessarily equate to talent. There's surely some kind of vague correlation, because there's an awful lot of completely untalented people that no one's ever heard of, and these people are probably more talented than them. But at the same time, what's important to sort of take away from this is the fact that just because you don't necessarily have talent doesn't mean that you don't have a voice, and people are here for your voice, not your talent. They're not, you know, if you make your image all around how you can do sweep picking if you're a guitarist, and you can do all the really technical Joe Satriani stuff, that's all right, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become the best guitarist ever. It doesn't mean that you're going to be, you know, succeeding as a guitarist compared to someone who might be able to do something that's genuine, even if it's just two very basic chords. It's fine to do stuff simply. It's fine to recognize your lack of talent, and it's fine to just sort of, yeah, you can go past if you want. It's totally fine to sort of sit down and just go, I'm not the best, but why should I let that stop me? Because why should you? You're free to do what you want. You're free to try things and fail and try again. Apologies for the cough. That's an example of a lack of talent. My lungs have a lack of talent for intaking air. But you know what? It's, in general, I think what's important is that we're all in the same pond. We're all trying stuff. We're all trying to make expressions of art, and we're all trying to get ourselves out there in some capacity. Even if we're not like actively making things, we all have that, you know, hobby or passion or that kind of thing that makes us feel like ourselves. And it's important to keep nurturing that, because the more you do it, the better you will get, and the more you will acquire talent over time anyway. So why bother worrying about what's going to happen anyway? It's like it being 6:30 and worrying about what's going to happen at 8 o'clock. Nothing's going to happen at 8 o'clock. It's just that more time will have passed. And as more time passes, you will gain more talent and you will gain more ability to do something. as you keep doing it, you learn what works, you learn what doesn't, you learn what's best, you learn what's worst, etc., etc. And as you continue to do that, you find your voice. And once you find your voice, then the world is your oyster, mate. You can do whatever the hell you want because nothing can hold you back, because you are you and no one can ever take that away from you. And it doesn't matter if you are someone who is maybe quite, you know, down to earth and simplistic and not particularly funny, or you could be like the funniest person on the planet, or you could be some sort of mix of the two, or you could be something entirely different. You know, it doesn't matter. Because every single person who has gotten some huge explosion of success didn't do it because they tried to play it safe. They did it because they tried something new and they tried something weird and it worked. So keep trying weird stuff and eventually you will get somewhere. You will eventually succeed if you just keep trying new and weird things and you keep, you know, exploring outside the box, because, you know, we all obviously have the box and our box is different from everybody else's box, but you still want to explore outside the box. You want to see what's going on in someone else's box. You visit their box and you kind of go, ooh, yeah, no, I like this person's box a little bit more. This person's box is really nice. So, you know, you've got this kind of to and fro of finding your own voice amidst the sea of everybody else's voice. What makes your voice distinct? What makes your voice relatable? Which means it's what makes it sort of similar to other people versus what makes it unique. Because just total uniqueness isn't brilliant on its own. It's useless on its own. I could just do like the most avant-garde outsider art and sure it'd be unique, but what could people really take away from it? Other than, ooh, yes, that is challenging. You know, it's fine to try stuff and it's fine to fail and it's fine to carry on. And that's part of the beauty of the human voice and the human expression, is that we all fail many, many times. And it's not just limited to small sort of nobodies like us. It also applies to the huge multi-million-dollar sets. Look at Madam Web. What a failure that was. But, you know, that's fine. I feel like Sony's probably learned their lesson from it, and if they haven't, they will at some point, and they'll try a different tactic. And sure, while Sony Pictures might not be the one that's doing super well now, that's not to say that they won't eventually find their voice and their footing and continue to improve in that sort of way. And, you know, the people that at the top that are doing really well, like Marvel, for instance, for the past 10 years has been doing incredibly well with their cinematic universe. And whilst it's not for me, I can recognize that it is absolutely astounding and revolutionary in what it's done for the cinematic landscape. It really is extraordinary. But their empire is slowly falling and new voices will come to take it. And that's the trend and the ebb and flow of the human zeitgeist, I suppose, in the artistic realm anyway. So it's, you know, you can always fill in one of those little voids that come around. And I don't just mean in the big scale, I mean on the small little scale. Like anything is possible, absolutely anything is possible. You can get big doing whatever, and it doesn't, and even you don't, maybe you don't want to get big, maybe you just want to find your voice, and that's it for the sake of it. And if anything, if you do it with that in mind, you are actually more likely to succeed, because do you know what it is? It's sort of like, you know, if you're waiting for a bus and then 3 turn up at once, or like say you're looking for a partner and you really want a partner and you feel really bad about being single. And then once you've kind of come to accept your singleness and you're fine with yourself and you're fine in your own shell, that's when suddenly you find yourself enthralled in a relationship. That's kind of what happens, is you always get what you want when you no longer want it. And that's basically the point of this video, is just don't worry about your talent, because it doesn't matter. It's not the be all and end all, because what's more important is the authenticity of your voice. What's more important than talent is knowing that you are you and no one can take that away from you. And that's basically the point of this video. So thank you so much for watching this one. Sorry about the leaves. It's the middle of autumn. Whee! So yeah, looks quite nice. It looked a lot better in real life actually, but what can you do? It's because I don't have the tripod. I could have probably set up a way better shot if I started with the tripod. But, you know, limitations get in the way, and talent isn't necessarily the be all and end all. You still kind of got the point. As long as you can get the point of something and what they're trying to do, and if you can resonate with that, that's more important than how successful they are at making that point. sometimes you listen to someone make a really good point, but they're not very good at, talking or explaining themselves. And so you're trying to listen in and try and hone in on what their point is, and you end up giving that sort of person a lot more of your thought and your attention than if someone compare talking to your friend to listening to a podcast. Your friend is going to make the point in a really roundabout way, and they're going to use really stupid metaphors and stuff, but you're going to sit and listen in because you kind of know them and their sensibilities, and two, it's more relatable because it's someone that knows nothing just like you, compared to, say, listening to experts on a topic talk about that topic. It's harder to sort of get into that. And I don't mean necessarily with academic stuff, I mean more in a subjective field like creativity or like, I don't know, self-improvement or that kind of thing. Because different things work for different people, and that's kind of fine. And you will gain talent in the end anyway, just from repetition. So don't worry about it so much, it's fine, everything's all right. And yeah, love you all. Leave your comments in the thing below about how you are not very talented, but don't let that get in the way. Yeah, and let me know about your last project, because I bet it was pretty neat. I bet it was better than you thought it was. So yeah, you can go past if you want. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. You have a good day, yeah? This cough is pain in the ass.